A crippling shortage of diesel fuel threatens to devastate Western economies in 2023. In my entire lifetime, Michael Schneider says, global supplies of diesel fuel have never been tighter than they are right now, and that's really bad news because the entire economy of the Western world runs on diesel. If we suddenly had no more diesel fuel, virtually all of our trains, trucks, ships would stop running. Needless to say, just about everything that stocks our store shelves comes to us via trains, trucks, and ships. So the fact that there is not enough diesel fuel to go around is a really big deal. Supplies have been declining for months, and at this point, diesel inventories have fallen so low that we only have a 25-day buffer remaining. The US is facing a diesel crunch just as demand is surging ahead of winter, with only 25 days of supply left, according to the Energy Information Administration. National Economic Council Director Brian Deese told Bloomberg TV that diesel inventories are unacceptably low and all options are on the table to bolster supply and reduce prices. Unfortunately, this is not just a problem here in the United States. Globally, supplies of diesel fuel have fallen to the lowest level that we have seen since 1982. The demand for diesel tends to rise as you get close to the winter because the molecules that make up diesel is very similar to the molecule that you use for heating homes in the US for winter fuels in Europe. Tom Colza, Dean of US Oil Analysts at Oil Price Information Service, told Newsweek, OPIS for short. This issue is global, said Colza, adding that diesel inventories around the world are the lowest they've been since 1982, and we've added about 3.4 billion people in that time. And read that last line again. We've added 3.4 billion people in that time, since 1982. The total population of the planet has nearly doubled since the early 1980s, and so we are truly in an unprecedented territory. Like I said earlier, I've never seen global supplies of diesel fuel any tighter than they are at this moment. Of course, that does not mean that we are about to totally run out of diesel fuel. But as supplies get tighter, we are likely to increasingly witness temporary shortages that have the potential to cause immense supply chain headaches. A shortage of diesel fuel is spreading across the United States, with one company launching an emergency delivery protocol requesting a 72-hour advance notice from clients to be able to make the delivery. Per the Bloomberg report, fuel supplier Mansfield Energy wrote in a note to its clients that conditions are rapidly devolving and at times carriers are having to visit multiple terminals to find supply, which delay deliveries and strain local trucking capacity. In a desperate attempt to alleviate the pressure, 2 tankers that were loaded with diesel and jet fuel that were headed to Europe have been turned back around. Meanwhile, the scarcity of diesel has prompted traders to start diverting cargoes with the fuel that were originally bound for Europe, Reuters reported earlier this month. Tankers tracking data showed at least two tankers with some 90,000 tons of diesel and jet fuel that were initially bound for Europe were diverted towards the US East Coast. That may help us a bit, but it's not good news at all for the Europeans. In fact, some areas of Europe have already started to experience very serious shortages of diesel fuel. Unfortunately, things are not likely to improve much anytime soon. In recent years, politicians in the United States and Europe have made life really difficult for refiners, and as a result, the number of refineries has actually been shrinking, and nobody has really wanted to build any new ones. And now we get to experience the consequences of their very foolish policies. At this point, we're being told that the only way to reduce demand for diesel is to have a significant slowdown in freight movements and manufacturing activity. Stabilizing, then rebuilding inventories to more comfortable levels will require a significant slowdown in freight movements and manufacturing activity. There are early indications manufacturing and freight activity peaked in the third quarter of 2022. If confirmed, that would take some of the pressure of distillate inventories. But a deeper and more prolonged slowdown in the United States and or in Europe and Asia will be needed to boost inventory significantly. Rebalancing diesel supply will likely require further rise in interest rates and tighter financial conditions in the United States and other major economies to reduce fuel consumption to more sustainable levels. So in other words, it's going to take a recession and/or a depression in order to fix this crisis. Ouch. We should have never allowed things to get this bad. Over the past decade, we should have been building a lot more refining capacity. But our politicians did not want that, and so now we all get to pay the price. And thanks to the war in Ukraine, supplies from Russia that could help alleviate this nightmare are not going to be available, so there will be shortages. Also, it's likely that diesel prices will go a lot higher than they are right now. Needless to say, it's good to add even more fuel to our ongoing inflation crisis because just about everything that we buy has to be transported. This is yet another reason why our standard of living is going to continue to go down at a frightening pace in the months ahead. We truly have got a colossal mess on our hands, and it's going to be with us for quite some time to come. And this is by Michael Schneider. He says, "My name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled 7-Year Apocalypse is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I have written 5 other books that are available on Amazon, including Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, Get Prepared Now, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing, and one way you can really help is by sending digital copies as gifts through Amazon to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and The Most Important News. And the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to replenish my articles on their own websites, but I also ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers should consult licensed professionals before making any legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, and any way that you can share these articles with others is a great help. These are such troubling times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge you to ask Jesus to be your Lord and Savior today. This is by Michael Schneider on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.